We're just 2 sleeps away from the 2025 World Series, and the roster has not been set. But Dave Roberts did say they're having a conversation about a roster spot. I'm going to tell you who they are talking about. What will that Dodgers World Series roster look like? What's factoring into the decision? Could we see Tanner Scott back on that Dodgers postseason roster? We got some facts and factors. How good are the Blue Jays? That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it ready to parade. We got it parade. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Ohtani starts the 50-50 club. Milky Magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain. I cover the Dodgers for Dodgers Nation, a credentialed member of the media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you're new to the show, this is the #1 Dodgers podcast, the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel. Lots of Dodger shows out there, lots of Dodger podcasts out there, but you, the listener, the fans out there, my co-hosts on this show, you make this show what it is, and you make it #1. So if you're new to the show, know a lot of new fans out there, a lot of new listeners, a lot of new viewers. Lock in, because you guys know the offseason is where it really goes down. Free agency, trades, post-game shows during the year, Dodgers Dugout Live all throughout the year. It's Dodger baseball 24/7, 365 on this show. No days off for your boys in blue and myself. There are also a couple other reminders. The Dodgers Nation Discord. You've got thousands. What up? D-Mac, my goat. Hey, you're my goat. You're all my goats, okay? But thousands and thousands of Dodgers fans talking ball all day, every day on the Dodgers Nation Discord. So if you have not yet joined that, also the LA Sports Report doing a big Dodgers video essay project preview that's going to drop on Friday for stuff we can't show here. We're going to show it over there, a breakdown. So if you want to join the LA Sports Report, find it in the info. Go over on YouTube, the LA Sports Report, over Lakers talk over there. Rams, Chargers, USC, UCLA, Clippers, Lakers, lots of Lakers. Did a whole episode of the Lakers today. So Laker fans, go check that out over on the LA Sports Report. How we doing, Dodgers Nation? I say, hype me up from Sam. I see, let's go Dodgers. Yeah, we got a lot of Dodgers debate. Hey, I love me some Jack Harris. I love me some Dylan Hernandez. I talked to him a good amount of time on the field. Those guys are awesome for sure. And yeah, absolutely. We got D-Mac's my favorite. Yeah, vest-wearing Dodger dude. Hey, man, just want to put this out there. My friends over at Travis Matthews, they hooked me up with some more vests, and we're adding some colors. Black, blue, a fresh new gray one. You guys know I had to bring the vest back for the World Series, so you will see the return of the vest for the World Series. So thanks for pointing that out. Also, how about the Shohei Ohtani jersey? Did it not work? Did it not work? Because I'm pretty sure it did. That jersey went on, and he went off. I've only broken out the Ohtani jersey 4 times. 4 times, and it's led to big things. And it led to the biggest of things the last time we saw him. But, yep, guys, keep firing away in the comments section. A little later in the show, we're going to do a little 7th-inning stretch where I answer all of your thoughts, comments, and questions about your boys in blue. This is a nighttime show. You guys know it's a little Dodgers Dugout Live after dark. It's a little looser of a show, so I will definitely give you guys a lot of floor here to chime in. We've got Jack Geezy, D-Mac stream after Game 3. Yep, exactly. Alan Church, hell yeah. We've got Mr. RABE saying, let's go, boys in blue. We got 4 more for the parade from Art. We got Luis Garcia, D-Mac built like Bonda. Hey, no tats, though. No tats, though. Bonda's pretty ripped, though. I don't know about Bonda's pretty, that dude's got some big arms. But, Luis, I'll take it, man. Hey, I eat my Wheaties. We got Jerome, who's your team? We got, is Kendrick opening up for game 3? I have no intel on that. And maybe you do. CC, a vested D-Mac is different. I like that. I see what you did right there. That's a fire take. So I love that right there. John Willis saying, let's go. Dirty Don with the Roki Sasaki PFP, the profile pick right there. You think it's a bad idea for us to bring back Tanner, and you think it's a bad idea for the Blue Jays to bring back Bo Bichette? Great questions. We'll answer them throughout this show. We got Brianna Rochelle. What up, Brianna? D-Mac needs another big taco from Dodger Stadium. Yo, you guys see that was like a sequel to the Glizzy, to the big slugger, crushing that big taco. Absolutely love that thing. We got Kevin, D-Mac Dodger Podcast, MVP, Hall of Famer. Thanks, Kevin. 2 more days until showtime. I know this has been the slowest week of all weeks in anticipation. I trust in D-Mac and the Dodgers. Lola, appreciate that. Dodgers Dev, I am still owed. This is from Dodgers Dev. I'm still owed a hat from calling you Dieppe Mac and winning comment of the show. DM me over on X and we will take care of you. We are, if this is Game of Thrones, we're the Lannisters. We always pay up our debts. Giveaways. I know there's a lot of people that do fake giveaways out there. You won't see that on this show. If you win a giveaway, you get the giveaway. So definitely communicate with me, Dodgers Nation, Twitter as well, but we will take care of you. I will see to it myself. We got, hey, D-Mac, Blue Jays, Teoscar, paid Dodgers. Okay, I like this. Anytime we got one of those, I love this. Arnold, hey, D-Mac, Blue Jays, Teoscar's paid, Dodgers in 5. Gonna drop some of those later. Sneaky Panda, $5 super chat. D-Mac, if the Dodgers win it all, can you throw it back on stream for us? Sneaky Panda, you have, I think, possibly surpassed Nando for the most sus takes on this show. Will I throw it back? Only if you agree to be Ice Cube and I can be Dave Roberts. If that's an agreement we can have, then absolutely. I've already agreed if the Dodgers win the World Series, I am going to do the post-game show shirtless. And if it happens at Dodger Stadium, I hope I don't get kicked out. But that is what I'm going to do because I am a man of my word. So if I want to add that to that, maybe I will. D-Mac, I want predictions. Tune into tomorrow's show. That's when I'm doing my official predictions, but we will give you some roster looks today. Nico Suave, $9.99. Yo, D-Mac, thanks for all you do as always. I bought a couple Mr. Cartoon masks. Are you able to bring those inside Dodger Stadium for the World Series? That's a really good question. I do not know the answer to that question, but I'm sure I can ask some people around. So maybe ask me tomorrow and I'll try to get back to you. $2, best show in the game, Dodgers in 4 from Danny RV. Appreciate that. You guys see, we're reading tons of comments, okay? Because it's Dodgers Dugout Live on Dodgers Nation After Dark. Ben Mazza, oh shoot, D-Mac, I need to lock into that free shirt from the last World Series. DM, D-Mac_LA. Come find your boy. We'll do some giveaways throughout the World Series as well. You guys are on fire tonight, so I want to keep running with this. 1999 from Stavi. Stavi coming through. Stavi coming through with a 1999 super chat. That's going to get some comment of the show love. That's going to get some comment of the show love. I love that.
You win. Perfect.
Yeah, that's back. Given our track record in the postseason, playing away, I'm confident we can put down Toronto in both away games, and I'll give them one against us at home. Dodgers in 5 at Dodger Stadium. Let's run this damn thing back. Yeah, isn't it wild the Dodgers have only clinched 1 World Series titles at home? It was 1963 when they beat the Yankees when they took care of business in 4. Yo, D-Mac, big homie to Dodgers Nation knowledge, Kevin Brer. All right, guys, awesome stuff. Some more super chats in here. 4-9 from Stephanie Hernandez. Bring back playing the chicken song for intentional walks at Dodger Stadium. I'll talk to the people that make those decisions for sure. Doom_Sal. D-Mac, good to see you Monday. Great to see you, Doom_Sal. you are the man. Beat Punk's Brian. D-Mac, you think Blue Jays will be Padres petty enough to block Dodgers fans from entering their stadium? You know, that's a good jumping off point. I've been reading a ton of comments. We'll read some more later. But there's so much Dodger baseball to get into. So much Dodger baseball to get into. This is the week of the World Series where your Los Angeles Dodgers have a chance to do something extra special. So we've got so much Dodger baseball to get into. So let's get right into it.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
All right, so the hottest story in Dodger baseball, of course, is the World Series, and we're going to unpack that layer for layer. I got my 10 big keys to victory I'm going to drop tomorrow. I've been working on them all week. I've been staying up till 2 and 3, 4 in the morning, researching every single angle of this World Series to get the best understanding of how the Dodgers go and finish this job. But we'll talk about the roster first. And before we do, I see people talking about Blue Jays fans. And I'm with you. Look, I thought Canada was supposed to be the nicest and most respectable fans on earth. And I'm sure that most of them are. But I've noticed it's gotten a little interesting. Blue Jays fans, Dodgers fans kind of mixing it up. And Blue Jays fans wanting this series so bad because they have finished second to the Dodgers in a lot of different ways. You finished second for Shohei Ohtani. You finished second for Roki Sasaki. And now you're trying to say, we didn't need those guys to beat you guys. But how about some of these Blue Jays fans? How about, check my man out right here.
Let me tell you what, we're going to barge in the Dodgers Stadium. We're going to say hello to Shohei, and we're going to take him out of the stadium and show bye,
Whoa. We're going to get Shohei. This guy's talking a big game. So you mean to tell me, my mans, you're going to go into the left field pavilion and talk that talk? I'll wait, because you won't, okay? This is the same energy that Dodgers fans were getting from Yankees fans last year, okay? Calm down, Blue Jay fan. You're happy to be here. Let's be honest about that. You're happy to be at the party. Just look at how the Blue Jays celebrated their Game 7 win over the Mariners, and rightfully so, where it almost looked like it was a World Series celebration. And George Springer acting like he won the World Series. Well, great. Good for you, Blue Jays. Good for you, Toronto. But the truth is, the Dodgers, when they beat the Brewers, the team with the best record in baseball, if you didn't know that it was the NLCS, if no one told you that it was the NLCS, you would have just thought, hey, is this a random game in August? Is this a random game on a Tuesday in August? Because I just see a normal victory formation and there's some fireworks. And that's just because this Dodgers team understands that no World Series, complete failure. Complete failure. And that is the sense that I got being inside the Dodgers clubhouse 2 days ago. Getting a chance to talk to Ben Kasparius, seeing Blake Snell and Blake Trinan and Shohei Ohtani walk in with that aura. I went right to the show yesterday to report what I had seen, and that was the trophy for the NLCS, where it had the card that said team effort on it, because this was a team effort. This has been a team effort. And the question is, what will this team look like on Friday? Well, Dave Roberts, he told us a few days ago that they are having conversations about one roster spot. And who could that be? We're going to get into that next. But here was Dave Roberts talking about the decision that he's going to have to make. It's a big decision. One of these guys is going to be on a roster. Some of these guys are not. And you have a once-in-a-lifetime, for a lot of these guys, opportunity to be a World Series champion on a roster and contribute to that. Here was Dave Roberts.
You know, it's good to see Tanner continuing to throw pens and It's just kind of trying to get a grasp on the doctors giving him the full kind of green light, the go ahead. So I really, today, I can't answer that question. I know that he's anxious, which is a good thing. But I think fortunately, we get to see for a couple more days, how he responds to throwing and bullpens and things like that. Yeah, that's fair. I think we're still kind of in talks. There's one spot I think that we could potentially kind of debate, and we'll continue to debate, but we haven't made a decision, but it's going to look, obviously, outside of that one spot, it's probably going to look exactly the same.
Okay, so that's very telling from Dave Roberts about how this roster is going to look, and I think the read on that from my end was on the position player side. That's where he was describing that the roster is going to look essentially identical. And we've seen towards the bottom of the roster on the position player side, Justin Dean, he's played his role well, still's not taking that bat, but with Teoscar Hernandez's defense, he's a big time plus as a defensive substitution late in the game, because then you could slide Andy Paz over to right field. You throw Justin Dean in center field, and he improves your defense late in a game. He's not the liability that Teoscar Hernandez is in the outfield. Then there's also using him as a pinch runner. I jokingly asked him after the NLCS win, I said, Justin Dean, I said, next year in spring training, we're going to have a race. You, Haesung Kim, and me. Okay? I get a head start, though. And I said, throw in Esteury Ruiz, too, if he's still around. Because I think that would be a lights-out race with those three fast guys. Those three lightning-fast guys. And Justin Dean has played his role well. So he's at the bottom half of the roster. Haesung Kim, the bottom half of the roster. And then he talked briefly about Tanner Scott. And Tanner Scott, he talked to us couple days ago, and Scott said, quote, I feel a lot better now. There were a few days where I felt miserable. I'm throwing a couple of bullpens. I'll see where it takes me. I feel healthy. I definitely feel better than I did coming off that Phillies series. I wasn't feeling great. So Tanner Scott, the surgery that he underwent was for a lower body abscess or a cyst, which was the reason why he wasn't on that NLCS roster. There was some talk that maybe he'd be gone for the entire postseason because of the procedure, because anesthesia, things like that. But it was described by the team as a minor surgical procedure. The procedure went down on October 9, 2025, after he was removed from the NLDS roster, so earlier this month. And the question I think the Dodgers are going to have is, how is he responding? How is the confidence? Are they going to want to get into the Tanner Scott conversation again, just because things have worked with what has been effective from their starters and the bullpen that they have used? So the question I think for Tanner Scott is, how long does this series go? If it's a 4 or 5 game series like we all hope, then the odds of needing Tanner Scott in a big moment are not high. The probability of him being a guy you have to go to at some point because you're in a 6 or 7 game series are a little higher, but it's not like it is the Phillies where you needed those left-handed relievers to neutralize guys like Kyle Schwarber or Bryce Harper. It's a different lineup for the Toronto Blue Jays with George Springer, with Bo Bichette possibly in a pinch hit role. He could be available in some capacity. But Vladimir Guerrero Jr., he's been the best offensive player overall for any player. I mean, he already has 6 home runs for the Toronto Blue Jays. His 6 home runs this postseason already tie the record for any player for the Blue Jays in their entire postseason career. Like, he's on an all-time heater, and it could go down as a Corey Seager type of run, Randy Arozarena type of run, right? Carlos Beltran type of run. I mean, that is the kind of heater that Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s on, and you don't need a lefty reliever like a Tanner Scott as a premium in those situations. Now, their other factor, too, for Tanner Scott is just the fact that things have changed significantly the way that the Dodgers are managing games. We know that their starting rotation's been absolutely elite. Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, Shohei Ohtani, those guys have combined for a 1.4 ERA. That is the third lowest ERA through a team's first 10 games to start a postseason in the modern era since division play began, since 1969. I mean, it's that good. The only team that's lower is that 1981 Dodgers team. They had a fantastic rotation. But it's not just the effectiveness of the rotation. Yes, they've gone deep into games. Outside of the Yamamoto start, the Glasnow start went 5 2/3 innings. You've consistently gotten 6 or more innings from your starting pitching. Hey, you got the first complete game in the postseason from Yamamoto in Game 2 of the NLCS since Verlander did it for the Astros back in 2017. But the big difference between this bullpen now and the bullpen at the end of the season is they're just not using guys that are traditional relievers as much as other teams are. Because Roki Sasaki, Emmet Sheehan, and even Clayton Kershaw has covered some innings, think about this mind-blowing stat. Think about this, especially as a Dodgers fan that lived through last year, that triumphed with a Dodgers rotation that only threw 42+% of their team's innings in 2024, when you had 2.5 starters with Jack Flaherty, Walker Buehler, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Think about this. Actual relievers for the Dodgers in the postseason, guys like Alex Vesia, Anthony Bonda, and Blake Trinan, guys like that, they've only accounted for 12 2/3 of the 92 innings in this postseason. That's just 13.8%. And none of those innings have been thrown by one Mr. Tanner Scott, who was active 4 or 5 games before being removed from the NLDS roster. So he says he's ready to go. He said that playoff energy is different. Dave Roberts said what he said, and he's just kind of get a grasp of things. But you look at the NLCS, the Dodgers, they carried 12 active pitchers, not including Shohei Ohtani because the Ohtani role. And the Dodgers, you could add another pitcher if you don't include Ha-Seong Kim or Justin Dean, but it doesn't sound like you're going to change that much. In the NLCS, the Dodgers had 4 right-handed relievers. You had Roki Sasaki, Blake Trinan, Emmet Sheehan, and Ben Kasparius. 5 left-handed relievers, Alex Vesia, Jack Dreyer, Anthony Bonda, Clayton Kershaw, and Justin Robleski. But Ben Kasparius and Justin Robleski, they did not appear in any games in the NLCS. So my spider senses are telling me that because of the lineup of the Toronto Blue Jays, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., George Springer, Bo Bichette's going to be back in the mix. This is a guy who led the league in hits. I mean, this is Shohei Bichette we're talking about that's hungry and ready to contribute any way he can. Because of that, those are all righties. Righty. And the Dodgers, they have been lefty reliever heavy. I think you do consider leaving off a Justin Robleski, a Tanner Scott, in favor of an Edgardo Henriquez or a Will Klein. And I think ultimately that's what the move will be. I think ultimately the move will be Will Klein or Edgardo Henriquez. I still think they value Ha-Seong Kim as a pinch runner. I mean, he's the guy who scored the game-winning run in Game 4 of the NLDS against the Phillies. And then earlier in that game, it was Justin Dean that scored on the walk. Right? So those guys are impactful as base runners. Do they look to say, okay, we'll keep a Robleski and we'll keep a Will Klein, Edgardo Henriquez, and we'll pick between Justin Dean and Ha-Seong Kim? And if you're going to pick between one of those two guys, the thought process there goes, all right, Dean can pinch run and he has a role as an outfield defensive replacement. Whereas Ha-Seong Kim, there's nowhere where you plug him in as a defensive replacement. He's not replacing Tommy Edman at second. He's not replacing Mookie Betts at shortstop. He's not doing any of those middle infield replacements. He's also not going to replace anyone in the outfield as well. So if they go that route, that would be the decision between those two guys. But just they've been loyal and they've been consistent with Kim and Dean being a part of this roster, even though that they don't have a massive role offensively. It's pinch runner for Kim. That's what he's been. And it's defensive substitution for Dean and another guy that can pinch run as well. I mean, you could say Alex Call can do some pinch running. He's an above average runner, but it feels to me like it's going to be either Edgardo Enriquez or Will Klein. Will Klein has kind of been that big wild card for the Dodgers just because the way the Stuff Plus looked, I mean, it was through the roof towards the end of the season. He's got a big fastball. His stuff was trending in the right direction to end the year, and we saw during that series against the Mariners, he really impressed. I mean, an inning, 2/3 innings, had the strikeout. His last month of action in September, he gave up no runs in 4 2/3 innings. He's a guy that has big stuff that could challenge a right-handed heavy lineup. So I expect to see one of Will Klein or Edgardo Enriquez on that postseason roster for the World Series. Who's it going to be between them? Will Klein has not pitched in the postseason, and Edgardo Enriquez, the stuff is big, but it doesn't play big. He's not a guy that gets a ton of strikeouts. He's a guy that really is kind of got some bruised our Gratterall in him, in that you'd like to see more swing and miss because he throws so hard. But the only action that he got was when he gave one hit, gave a 1 run in that nightmare 8th inning there when the Dodgers won 10-5 to take a 1-0 series lead in that wild card round. And Dave Roberts was not very high on him after that game, and we didn't see him after that. So that's going to be really interesting. It's going to be between those two guys. Something tells me it's Edgardo Enriquez. I saw him in the clubhouse. He was definitely looking jovial and smiling and being that guy. So I would not be surprised if it's Klein, though. I know he's part. Will Klein was a part of the conversation very late in the game for the last couple of rounds for the NLCS. So I would not be surprised if it's Klein. But let's run down the roster. We've got a unicorn in Shohei Ohtani. He's your designated hitter. Also counts as starting pitcher. Utility men: Tommy Edman, Kike Hernandez, and Haesung Kim. Outfielders: Andy Pages, Teoscar Hernandez, Alex Call, and Justin Dean. Infielders: Miggy Rowe, come off the bench, Max Muncy, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. Catchers: Will Smith and Ben Rortvedt, Benny the Vet Rodriguez, the Rottweiler. So the only thing that you could probably say from a position player standpoint that could be a wild card, and this would scare me just because of the bet that I have with you about Michael Conforto, the fact that you don't have any lefties in their starting rotation. No lefties. I mean, it's Gausman as their ace. You're going to see Savage coming out after that. Max Scherzer. I mean, they're not going to throw lefties at you. Chris Bassett looked decent in his work late in that Mariners series. So it kind of makes you wonder, do you not include Alex Call, and somehow, some way, is it Michael Conforto on the roster just because of he has that platoon advantage of handedness, a lefty bat going up against a lot of righties? That's something you could consider. If the Blue Jays try to do everything in their power to neutralize a lefty bat, well, then you got Miguel Rojas, who you can use off the bench to go up against any of their 3 lefty relievers. So he hasn't had the most success at the plate in the postseason, but he's always going to give you a really good at bat. So that would be the conventional wisdom is does Alex Call get left off? Does Michael Conforto get back on because of the handedness? And you guys know the bet still remains. If Michael Conforto wins World Series MVP, we will live stream me getting a Michael Conforto number 23 with Conforto underneath it tramp stamp, lower back tattoo, real ink, live streamed. Not talking about fake tattoos. Live stream. If it happens for whatever reason, that is going to be the deal. That is going to be the deal. Okay? And, yeah. Would that be something else? It would be a good problem to have. I mean, can you imagine that? Imagine your first tattoo. Someone said I was built like Anthony Bonda. Imagine being your first tattoo being a Michael Conforto lower back tattoo. Wouldn't that be good times? Okay, I don't know about that. But as far as the starters go, this is obvious. Blake Snell, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, and Shohei Ohtani. Those are your 4 starters. Dave Roberts has already said multiple times that's the rotation. Dave did say, though, that as far as decisions, that they have not made a decision who's going to go in Game 3. Yeah, games 1 and 2 set. Blake Snell and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, but they have not committed to Tyler Glasnow over Shohei Ohtani in Game 3. And one thing that Dave Roberts told us yesterday was they wanted to see how things would shake out. They wanted to see how things would play out in this series before they made that decision. So does that mean, my read on that is, does that mean if the Dodgers go down 0-2 or they split, do you say we like Shohei Ohtani, the more dominating pitcher, as your Game 3 starter to avoid going down in this series 3-0 or whatever it may be? You kind of playing with your best pitcher at that point available if that's the case. I think that was my read on the situation. If the Dodgers don't get off to the start that they have throughout this entire postseason, where you've gone on the road, you've taken 2, just like they did in Philly, just like they did in Milwaukee, I do think they strongly consider going to Shohei Ohtani because Glasnow's looked really, really good. I mean, a sub-1 ERA in 13 2/3 innings. This stuff has been really good. The walks haven't been big, but early in his last start against the Brewers was walking some guys early, didn't have a rhythm in that first inning. The truth is, if you're comparing Glasnow's Game 3 start to Shohei Ohtani's Game 4 start, where he went 6 innings and went scoreless and had 10 strikeouts, Shohei Ohtani has looked like the better pitcher than Tyler Glasnow, and that is the ultimate champagne problem, by the way. When Tyler Glasnow is your number 4 starter, I mean, he would be the number 1 starter potentially for this Blue Jays team, and he could be the 3 or 4 starter for Los Angeles Dodgers. But what that would also allow you to do is, if you're kind of kicking around the idea of using Ohtani as your Game 3 starter and Glasnow as your Game 4 starter, well, that opens the door for Glasnow to be used as a bullpen piece in Games 1 and 2 a little more liberally, right? You can use them in those situations like we saw in the Phillies series, and you can bust him out because he's a big arm, and he's someone that he can give you multiple innings too, which is extremely value in and of itself. So that's a factor. But the big decision, I think, for the bullpen side is going to be that last spot. We know that the locks for the bullpen: Blake Trinan, lock; Alex Vesia, lock; Roki Sasaki, Bailar Roki, Sueta Roki. I'm trying to learn the song, guys. How am I doing? I mean, the song's a banger. The whole clubhouse, the whole dugout, they bang on the thing. Roki. And I asked Miguel Rojas about it, and he told me it just sounds like he's saying Roki, so that's why I picked it. It sounds great. But he's a lock. So you're looking at 9 bullpen pieces. Trinan 1, Vesia 2, Roki 3, Bonda 4, Jack Dreyer 5, Emmet Sheehan 6, then Clayton Kershaw 7, then Ben Kasparius 8. And I think the 9th one, I think right now, see, what makes Robleski interesting is you get multiple innings of relief if you need that. If you lose a game and you want to have a guy eat one, Kershaw can do it from the lefty side, so you don't necessarily need Robleski. And you got Ben Kasparius that can do it from the righty. It's either that last spot goes to Edgardo Henriquez or Will Klein. Will Klein would be the sneaky one. If it were me, I'm going Will Klein. Probably end up going with Edgardo at the very end. I'm going to do some more digging tonight, see if I can find out for you. It's like we did in the NLCS roster. and the DS roster too in the no Michael Conforto roster. So we'll see. But that's definitely the thought process right there. I mean, the rotation's absolutely set. That thing is the murderer's rotation. More aces than a deck of cards. When you factor in, you got even Emmet Sheehan and guys like Clayton Kershaw, fantastic options as well. And then you look at the lineup. So the interesting thing to me, another topic I want to discuss is, could you use an opener if you're the Blue Jays to try to neutralize the lefties at the top of the Dodgers lineup? Would you consider going that route? And it's an interesting conversation because we've seen it a couple different times. We saw it again in the Brewers series with Aaron Ashby, and it really didn't work out. Shohei Ohtani in Game 3 hit that triple. Mookie came in, knocked him in, and boom, just like that, the Dodgers were able to get a run, and it didn't work out for you. The Blue Jays, they don't have a left-handed starter, but they could use someone like an Eric Lauer or another one of their lefties to use as an opener to try to at least give the Dodgers and Dave Robertson, the powers that be, something to think about in those situations. And then you go to one of your starters. But the truth is, I mean, that's major. That's playing with fire on the biggest level. It really is, because one, if the Dodgers are able to score some runs there, then you just put your starter in a bad spot, you put your offense in a bad spot, and the wheels are in motion for a blowout win for the Dodgers, or at least a comfortable win. And then two, what lefties do you have to go to in the leverage innings 7, 8, 9 when that game could ultimately be decided if you burn one of those guys early in the game? Then you factor in two, just kind of the dudes that you have in your rotation, the Gosmans, the Scherzers. Those are not the type of guys you just have openers for, especially when you look at splits and things like that. It does feel like this could be a traditional type of World Series, right? The Dodgers not considering any openers like they were at times in the last couple of years. Even in games where you got like Landon Knack and remember Ryan Brazier was an opener in Game 2 of the NLCS against the Mets. And there's just multiple examples. I mean, you're not seeing that. I mean, who's going to kind of look back at that time, right? Where you just had different openers throughout your career, right? I mean, if you look at the Dodgers, they've had to get creative. They've had to get creative for the number of years because they never had the starters to just go out there and say, you know what, let's do it. Let's just go out there and we are going to take the starters. They're going to see if they can go 6, 7, and we'll try to count some outs until we get to the bullpen. Like, that's just not, they have not had that luxury throughout this run. They've had to get creative. I mean, who will ever forget when, I mean, who is the Game 5 starter in the 2021 NLDS? Who remembers? It was Corey Knebel, right? and then of course you get a Brewstar, and then Urias is the bulk guy, then Scherzer closed things out. They don't have to do that. And I think the Blue Jays, you could flirt with that idea. You certainly could. And maybe later in the series, depending on how things go, I mean, that's a route that you consider. But the lineup versus the opener, if they kind of could sniff that out and it was a lefty, you probably, if you were the Dodgers, you see a lineup that's Ohtani batting first, Betts batting second, and then instead of Freddie batting third, you got Smitty batting third and Freddie batting cleanup, and then Tommy Edman, Teoscar Hernandez, Max Muncy, Kike Hernandez, and Andy Pages in that spot. But typically, the lineup you're going to see throughout this series, you're going to see Shohei Ohtani batting first, Mookie Betts batting second, Freddie Freeman batting third, Will Smith batting in the cleanup hole, the cleanup spot. Then Muncy batting fifth, Teoscar batting sixth, Tommy Edman batting seventh, Kike Hernandez batting eighth, and Andy Pages batting ninth. That is the lineup that you're going to see most commonly, most likely throughout this series against the Blue Jays. And it would be awesome to see this Dodgers team get carried by this offense, because you're not facing the Christopher Sanchez's and the Jesus Luzardos and the Ranger Suarez's. You're not facing those guys anymore, those power lefties that throw at tricky arm angles that really do a number on Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman and guys like that. So this is a great opportunity for this Dodgers offense to come alive and explode all over this Blue Jays starting rotation. I think it would be pretty awesome. I think it really would be awesome for sure. But let's hear some more Dave Roberts, because Dave Roberts has been asked this question about the Dodgers dynasty. And I've been saying all year, you got to win 2 in a row to consider yourself a dynasty. But it looks like they're not buying into all that dynasty talk. They're wanting to go out there, go Kobe Bryant on them. Job's not finished. And then they'll celebrate when they get there. I know it's on their minds, but they're saying the right things right now.
I don't know. And I can honestly say, I would say that that's not the case, which doesn't sound like it makes sense. But personally, I want to win this one in 25 as much as I wanted to win any of them. And I think that I feel the players feel the same way. And, the legacy dynasty talk, a lot of that I feel is meant for other people that aren't playing, and let them have those debates where it's our job to kind of put those topics on the table, and we have an opportunity to do that. Right now we're just focused on the Blue Jays, and we need to play good baseball. And then, hopefully we put that topic of, legacy on the table for many people to debate.
So that's the right thing to say, and that's for, I guess, people like myself, right? People like myself to talk about, are they a dynasty and things like that, and you know that is obviously going to be the most important part of it, is going out there and finishing the job, because it's stupid to even talk about it unless you do the job. And we've seen crazier things happen in World Series, and there's been so many weird moments. I mean, typically the last 4 times you've had a team sweep to the NLCS to get to the World Series, and you're going against a team that just played a Game 7. Yeah, typically in those situations, that team does not fare well. That team's not the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's not a team that has gone out there and won the World Series and put together one of the best rosters we have ever seen. But there's no doubt about it. If the Dodgers win this championship, this is officially it. Here's what's at stake here. Because, look, baseball is very different than basketball. It's very different than football. And the truth is, winning a World Series title, it's like multiple championships in other sports. I really truly believe that. Just because of how many moving pieces there are, how many moving parts, the roster, the luck that goes into it. And you've only had back-to-back champions 14 times. You've only had 14 times where you've had a back-to-back championship. That's all. I mean, the World Series has gone for a very long time. I mean, you've had a World Series go 120 years, right? There's been 120 World Series championships, and only twice have you had back-to-back championships. And it hasn't happened since 2000 Yankees. Before that, it was those early 90s Blue Jays teams. Before that, it was a long time. It was those 70s Yankees teams that beat your Los Angeles Dodgers in 77 and 78. You had the Big Red Machine that did it, the last National League club to make that happen, the 1975 and 1976 seasons. But it's been a long time since you've even had a chance to make this kind of history. The last time a team has made it back was that Phillies team in 2009. So if the Dodgers are able to get that World Series title, I mean, we are talking about, you look at professional sports right now. I mean, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Kansas City Chiefs, I mean, they're kind of at the end of their reign, right? Hockey, Panthers are a good team for sure. But I mean, is anyone including them in the list of all-time great teams? The Dodgers have an opportunity to not just become a dynasty, but because of the names that are on this roster, these future Hall of Famers, names that are going to age very well, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani, like some of the most clutch players, Kike Hernandez, Max Muncy, Teoscar Hernandez, right? I think all championships aren't created equal, but this team has a real opportunity to do something really cool. And that is, anytime you want to start the conversation, who are the best teams in history, your name gets brought up. Your team year gets brought up. Look at basketball. When they talk about the best teams in the NBA, who do you talk about? Talk about the 96 Bulls, 72 wins. You talk about the 2001 Lakers. You talk about the KD and Curry Warriors. You talk about the 86 Celtics. You talk about the Showtime Lakers. What do all those teams have in common? Multiple championships. Football, Patriots. You talk about some of those teams in history that have, 85 Bears, best defense, teams like that. But really the mark of being included in that all-time great list is multiple championships. And I think that is something to be very proud of if you're a Dodgers fan, to join that conversation. Because right now, the truth is, as great as this franchise is, as elite as they've been their entire existence, 140 years, you have 8 World Series titles. You never have won back-to-back. And even though you have some of the greatest names in baseball history, you don't have a team that's included on the list of all-time great teams. You don't. Even that 88 team, people say, Bob Costas was trying to say that was one of the worst teams ever to win the World Series. We know it's not true. But as far as the inclusion in that list, 81 team, the 55 team, 63, 65, I think you definitely consider Koufax as one of the best postseason pitchers ever, if not the best. But this will be the first time that the Dodgers will have something that they can honestly say they don't have. The Yankees, people bring up the 98 Yankees. The Yankees have this. I want the Dodgers to have something that they don't have right now, that I think their only competitor in their sport, the Yankees, has. And that is the right to be labeled as an all-time team. And I go on and on for days on this, and we're going to talk storylines. And we're going to talk some Shohei Ohtani and Toronto tomorrow, and the story of how he almost signed with the Blue Jays, which is some wild stuff for sure. Yeah, I did some digging on that. Maybe we'll get my guy JP on the show to kind of break that one down. That'd be good stuff as well. But now let's go to you guys, and let's go to the 7th inning stretch. I know you guys are dying to get some comments in here.
The 7th inning stretch.
Mac and cheese. Let's get the first two. Are we going to 3P? Andy Chen. We going to 3P. There you go. Hey, last year in 3P, that early 2000s Lakers teams. 90s Cowboys won 3 chips in 4 years. Yep, and haven't done anything since. Claudia, what up, Claudia? BC, when the Dodgers 3P, it'll be 10 World Series. That'd be awesome. Get them to double digits. 80s 49ers. There you go, Art. Gentleman's Suite from Victor. Who's your big X factor this series? My X factor, I will go with Max Muncy. I think Max Muncy has been hitting the ball hard. He's been making great contact. And Max Muncy is a sleeper pick to win MVP. I think my pick is going to be Shohei because that was my preseason pick. Was I not right about Shohei in the NLCS? Hey, let's be honest. I was the only human being on the planet. Unless you guys can show me a video or a tweet or a group chat text message, let's be honest. I was the only person on the planet heading into Game 4 of the NLCS that said Shohei Ohtani was going to have 6 innings and hit a home run and have a really great start and a great night to play. Unless you could show me anywhere else. I didn't say 3 home runs. I didn't say 1 in 6. I will take that. I'm glad I was wrong from that standpoint. But I still had him as my NLCS MVP when everyone was trying to say it was going to be co-MVPs. And I want to take credit for Shohei Ohtani being the MVP because that's, come on now, that's the lowest hanging fruit there is, right? But still, I think he's going to win the MVP again because I think he's going to have a really good start. Dave Roberts did not shut down the idea that Shohei Ohtani could be used as a closer He said depending on how the series plays out, so who knows, maybe he could get the final outs. Hopefully he doesn't need to be that because of Roki Sasaki and the success that he's had. But I'm expecting Shohei Ohtani to get nasty against the Blue Jays because you know you're going to hear boos from Blue Jays fans who are booing him because of bad, inaccurate reporting. That's not his fault. And I will tell you right now, Shohei Ohtani in his career against the Blue Jays has not pitched against them, but has a career .314 batting average with 11 home runs and 27 RBI, scored 27 runs in 33 games. So he's my World Series MVP. My sleeper pick, though, is Max Muncy just because he's going to be seeing a lot of righties and he's been hitting the ball very hard. Who's you guys' World Series MVPs, though? I want to see that. Wembenyama went off tonight. Michael McCaffrey. Did he grow like 2 feet this offseason? Something crazy like that. Blake Snell, tough to beat. John N., I can't sleep at night. Right after hearing the name Tanner Scott. Oh, come on. I love him so much. Roki for pitching. Andy Pajes, he's due to break out. So, Brianna, your MVP is Andy Pajes. I'm going to have to send you a T-shirt. I'll send you our Andy Pajes T-shirt if he wins World Series MVP because he's 3 for 35. I did see him hit a home run off of Bobby Miller the other day, and maybe that breaks him out of it. By the way, Kyle Hurt was in the mix too. Could Kyle Hurt be that sneaky right-handed reliever? Could it be Kyle Hurt? Interesting. Todd, Clayton Kershaw should close it out to win it all if we're up by 4 or 5 runs. Absolutely. I mean, if you're up 4 or 5, let me get like 6 or 7, but my dream scenario now, my preseason dream scenario was for Clayton Kershaw to strike out Altuve or Correa on the Astros. Of course, this was before the trade, but that way the things evolved. But now, since the Astros are in Cancun, they didn't make it. The next best thing, I guess, would be to exact some revenge on George Springer and strike him out to end the World Series. That would be great. So that would be an ideal scenario. I totally agree. If I could pick anyone to close it out, it would be Clayton Kershaw. But if it was tight, 1-run game, 2-run game, give me WBC Shohei Ohtani somehow, some way going out there and the big show, getting those final 3 outs. And then you already have an all-time great World Series moment, right? You have a moment that you'll never forget. Him getting a final out in a World Series, that joins the all-time great montage that we have Freddie Freeman on from last year. Max, Munchie, I see you, Ricardo. We've got, hey, Doug, what do you think the biggest threats the Blue Jays pose? I mean, it's the lineup. Absolutely. That lineup averaging 6.5 runs per game in the postseason. The way they're slugging from top to bottom, they're aggressive, and it's a strength versus strength matchup, and we'll talk about that on Dodgers Dugout Live tomorrow when I do my full preview. But there's a lot of really interesting matchups in this. There really is. And they have a OPS and a ability to slug where they're very different than the Blue Jays. I see a lot of people out there, a lot of these other Dodgers previews are saying there's a similarity between the Brewers and the Blue Jays in that they hit for contact, and they're trying to compare the two. There's a big difference. And the big difference is that, yes, they hit for contact similar to the Blue Jays, but they make that contact count, and it's hard hit balls. The Blue Jays, think about this. In 2025, the Blue Jays in the postseason, they're .878 OPS. That's the 6th highest OPS of any team since 1969. Their .523 slugging percentage as a group is the 4th best since 1969. So, I mean, we're talking about a team that is a all-time great slugging postseason team up until this point. So you have to deal with those guys. It's very different. They make the contact count. Very different. I mean, you look at the Dodgers, what they did to the Brewers, and you ask me what's their biggest strength. Dodgers' biggest strength against the Brewers was starting pitching, and they dominated that Brewers lineup. The Brewers hit 118. They couldn't hit sand if they fell off a camel against the Dodgers. And that was in a 4-game sweep. That was one of the weakest slash lines in the history of the sport. 118, 191 on base, 193. Like, why did the Brewers hitters even bring bats to the plate? That's how bad they were. But That ain't happening with the Blue Jays, man. And if it does, then you really got to tip your cap and give this Dodgers rotation an all-time great performance and really vault them right to the top. Because, I mean, you look at the Blue Jays this month, hitting 297, 500 slug, plus slug. I mean, that is going to be a big difference. I mean, you're going to see the Dodgers throw a lot of breaking balls at them because they've been dominant with the spin, and that's how the Dodgers have gotten guys out at the plate. So that's definitely their biggest strength is that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. for sure. 11, Claudia 11, Tommy Edman always comes through when it counts. Hello from Ethiopia, working and see you every day, D. What's up, Santiago? You're watching me in Ethiopia. That means a lot. Really appreciate that. Thick Muncie is the big hitter. I like that. Will Smith, that's your pick. Steven Stevens, I think the Dodgers bats are going to go off this series. It's going to be epic. Bilal K says, no home runs look as smooth to me as a Muncie home run. Bilal K, yeah, that's a solid pick because it's not just the home run, which gets out in a hurry. It's the bat drop. I've actually talked to him about that, is his bat drop, and he's like, dude, I get to celebrate because the work is done, right? And it's just kind of a way to feel it, to swag it out, man. And, yeah, his bat drops, they're nasty for sure. We got to Thomas the Tank Engine, Tommy Edman, Ricardo, confidence level coming to the World Series, 1 through 10. My confidence level, I got to say 8.5. I really have to. I think this is a really good Blue Jays team, and if it's a long series, it wouldn't shock me. But unless the Dodgers starting pitching, and the key too is the Dodgers starters have been great, but they haven't been used multiple times in a series yet, and we're at the World Series. They took out the Phillies in 4 games. They took out the Brewers. They took out the Phillies in 4 games, and you just had to use glass now, and they beat you 1 game. That's a 5-game series, and then you beat the Brewers in 4 games. So I think these guys are fresh too. I mean, I think the big week layoff is really going to help. I mean, why wouldn't you think that Blake Snell isn't going to dominate? Why wouldn't you think that Yamamoto isn't going to dominate? I mean, those guys are as good as it gets in the game right now. And I just think this is a Dodgers team that they're just on such a mission. You got guys at the peak of their powers. You have a chance to do something extremely special. The Brewers are the best team they played outside of, I think, the Phillies. Brewers, I think, would lose to the Blue Jays. But I still think that, I have a lot of confidence, and it's not a biased confidence either, man. There's a reason why the Dodgers are heavy favorites heading into this World Series. I mean, that they are. When you look at the betting lines, the Dodgers. Last time I checked, let's see where they are at. Let's see where the Dodgers are at, because heading into the series, the Dodgers. Just 11 hours ago, you were a heavy favorite. According to BetGM, the Dodgers are right now a -220 to win the World Series. So at -220, betting-wise, that's the wise guys in Vegas giving the Dodgers a 68.75 chance to win the World Series. Just to give you an idea, that after they beat the Yankees in the World Series last year, the Dodgers opened up as a +400 favorite to go back-to-back. So that is pretty strong. That is pretty strong. And a lot of look, here's the thing, though. It's baseball, though. So, I mean, if forget what I said if anything happens other than this. But baseball is the weirdest thing ever. The Dodgers, they're given right now by Fangraphs' model a 66.3% chance to win the World Series. That's one of the highest ever for Fangraphs. I'm actually going to contact them tomorrow, see if that is the highest ever, where that's at. But, a lot of confidence in our boys in blue, and as should you. I mean, this team's playing great baseball. The only thing that could really derail that is if for whatever reason the bats don't come alive, which you would expect them to at least perform better than they did against the Phillies and even against the Brewers. But I think you've awoken Shohei Ohtani, and you're just more favorable matchups. And we're going to dive deeper into that on tomorrow's show as well. Nico B. D-Mac, if we fall behind early, is there enough in our lineup to keep up with the Jays offense? I mean, I think this offense is going to be tested. And I think it's a fantastic point you bring up, Nico B, because I think that, I mean, you look at how reliant they've been on dominant starting pitching and Rogi Sasaki and the bullpen. You're going to need to not rely on that as much. I mean, if it happens, great, but I almost think the Dodgers offense needs to pretend almost like you have last year's rotation, right? I mean, because you just never know when that Blue Jays offense can explode. Before George Springer hit that home run, the Mariners had an 80% chance to win that game. And all of a sudden, 3-run bomb, boom, and then you got the cheater, another home run. I mean, another big moment of the postseason. So, yeah, I do think the offense is just the matchups favor Ohtani and Freddie a little more just because you're not seeing the lefties. But I think, too, it's you don't have that high-velocity, explosive starting pitcher for that team. Like, you don't have a Jacob Mizorowski with that rotation. So we know that's something the Dodgers can struggle with. So I definitely think so, too. We got, what's up, Matt? We've got Shohei. We got Sleeper Picks. Doug, what do you think the biggest threats? Okay, let's go down here. Let's do a couple more here. Let's do Yankees and Mariners. We're serving up BP pitching of the Blue Jays. Yeah, I mean, look, this is a team that, I mean, even the Mariners, you look at that series, I mean, the Mariners are a team that, yeah, I mean, they have decent starting pitching, but nothing like the Dodgers have. And you look at that series, I mean, they held the Blue Jays to 1 run in game 1. They held them to 3 runs in game 2. And then the Blue Jays exploded for 13-8. And then they held them to 2 runs in game 5. So, I mean, they had even the Blue Jays struggled against the Mariners at times. So, I mean, that there's no reason why the Dodgers can have that same level of success. They execute. Tom Vernia, Yoda says, Dodgers focused they are. Win, they will do. Here's the verse. Okay. Let's do some more here. Got that means the Dodgers starting pitching are due to cool down too, right? Hey, we'll see. I mean, Prone 2 Thrill, what is up? Nico Suave, what is up? We got Nick Morris, Late Night Dodgers Talk, LFG. What up, Nick Morris? We've got my prediction, Prone 2 Thrill. My prediction, anytime Dave goes to the pen, I'll be chugging Pepto. There you go. Hey, Dave, show Dave some love, man. He's had a really good postseason for sure. But, yeah, to me, hey, before the first pitch, give me Pepto, right? Third inning Pepto. Up 10 runs Pepto, okay? It's postseason baseball. It's not for the faint of heart. 999 Super Chat from the Sandwich. Remember, D-Mac, the Dodgers need to put a candle out for Tatis. Comment of the show. Fire take. Yeah, I know. Are there even candles in Los Angeles anymore? Have they replenished the candles? Because they've been sold out for a long time. Because remember, Manny Machado, Mr. Hey, you guys. Manny Machado, he threatened everyone, right? Hey, they better light a candle that Tatis isn't injured, huh? Oh, Manny Machado. 499 from Scar Maze. D-Mac, did you see the Padres turn their trophy case into the community book exchange? Fire take. Killing me. I did not see that. That's pretty hilarious. That's pretty hilarious to see. I mean, it's nice to see they're using it for something because it is collecting dust. It is the loneliest trophy case in all sports, but good stuff right there. D-Mac, give us a review of the Blue Jays pitchers, John Jones. We'll do that tomorrow, and we've done that a little bit throughout this week, but I'm going to save a lot of that. But what you kind of need to know is, I mean, Louis Varland is their go-to reliever. Hoffman, I think, is a guy that if he's right, he's their closer. We know that, and he's got some pretty good stuff. Is he as good as Roki when he's on? That's tough to see, but I think a guy like Louis Varland, he's been used in all but one of their postseason games, so he's the guy that Schneider's going to go to the most. But you don't have a slew of lefties that you can throw at the Dodgers. I think here's a good way to kind of think about the rotation. If you were to do the rotation, like let's say we're going to combine both teams right now and make the starting rotation, who would you throw out there? I think your ace would be Blake Snell. He's pitched the best. Behind him would be either Yamamoto or Shohei. Give Yoshi the nod because he pitched the complete game. Third, Shohei. Fourth, Glasnow. So they don't have anyone in their rotation that you could make a case would start over any of the Dodgers' 4 starters. So their ace isn't as good as the Dodgers' 4 starter. Just want to make that very clear. I mean, Kevin Gausman, Trey Savage, good story, Shane Bieber, Max Scherzer, guys that have kind of gotten their career that was at one point on life support back on track to the fact they could be effective. And, yeah, Scherzer in the postseason, I mean, he's a dog, man. I mean, I don't get overconfident in that. I mean, we could see a really good performance from Max Scherzer for sure. You could even say maybe Gausman deserves the nod over Glass now on his best day, but I just don't think, though. I just don't think so. I mean, I think those guys are really good pitchers, but on paper, there's no comparison between the Dodgers rotation, the way they're pitching right now, and the Blue Jays rotation. The bullpen, I mean, it's actually a weak spot for both teams if you don't factor in how good Roki Sasaki has been. But Jeff Hoffman, he's looked really good at times. Other times he's been a disaster. Roki Sasaki, for the most parts, looked good, and then he had that one little hiccup in Game 1 of the NLCS. Louis Varland, I think you could say, at his best, is as good of a setup man as Blake Trinan is right now, or even Alex Vesia when he's right. That's kind of a push. That really is kind of a push. And you look at their lefties. I mean, for the Dodgers, you got Anthony Bond and Alex Vesia. The middle relievers for the Blue Jays, it's Sir Anthony Dominguez and Braden Fisher. So both managers, they've really done a great job of hiding their bullpen in certain ways and just taking advantage of a monster offense if you are the Blue Jays. I mean, some would say that they would rather take Hoffman and Varland over Sasaki and Vesia. I wouldn't, though. I mean, I think the youth of Roki maybe you say no, but yeah, the bottom line is the Dodgers have a really massive advantage, their offense going up against their pitching. So you hope to see more of the same. But let's do some more comments here, and then we are going to get out of this one. Man, I didn't realize that we went that long, but it's World Series week. Yay, Dodgers Yoda's here. Maybe we'll do a Dodgers Yoda World Series edition tomorrow. You guys want to do that? Dodgers on a vengeance after the Blue Jays fan chant. I know. The F the Dodgers. I mean, this is what you guys are bringing to the, I mean, this is what we're doing, Blue Jays fans?
Let me tell you what, we're going to barge into Dodgers Stadium. We're going to say hello to Shohei, and we're going to take him out of the stadium and show bye,
Bro, Shohei will hit you over the wall so fast and get another plaque. We got, can you tell Ohtani that tomorrow's my B-Day? I love that. I love that. If Caesar says, if Scott starts to warm up, give me a poison drink. Come on, man. You guys are killing me. Dodger for life. 1999 says, when we win, I want to see you eat a glizzy. Okay, that's a deal. That's a deal. I'll write that on the list, too, of things I do if the Dodgers will win. Commented relationship. Doug, do you think the 7-game series softened up Toronto's bullpen? Absolutely. I mean, that's another good point, that they have been heavily taxed, whereas the Dodgers haven't. And I think the layoff actually favors the Dodgers. Absolutely. Absolutely. Just paid for D-Mac's next dinner meal. What up, Brianna? We got Bubby. D-Mac, what's your opinion on past playoffs where teams that swept their opponents in the ALCS ended up losing in the World Series? Do you think history will favor the Blue Jays to victory? So I kind of touched on this briefly earlier, and I think in this case, I trust this Dodgers team. If it was a different Dodgers team, one that hadn't won a World Series, didn't have as many veterans, didn't have as much starting pitching dominance that they have, maybe you could kind of look into the fact that, oh, are they going to be a little rusty? Are they going to get complacent? This team, I'm telling you, I've talked to these guys. They are laser focused. I believe them when they tell me they want this one as bad as last year's, just because of Clayton Kershaw, because of going back-to-back, because they're just great competitors. So I think if it was the other way around, if you gave me the option of playing a grueling 7-game series where You're having to have starters go multiple starts, having to tax his bullpen just so you could stay relevant and stay in a rhythm at the plate. Well, then I would be concerned. I'd be like, okay, fine, right? But I would not take that over having a sweep and getting the rest. And the reason for that, too, is when you look at layoffs, it impacts hitters more than it impacts pitchers. Pitchers are out there doing their side work, throwing their bullpens, getting ready, doing whatever they need to do in between starts that they typically do on normal rest for whatever they're going for, right? But it's hitters that lose a rhythm. And yesterday they had a simulated game at Dodger Stadium. They have the traject machine that they've been using constantly, and that traject machine can simulate pitches from real-time pitchers that, I mean, Dalton Rushing told me it changed his career. It's how effective it is. So if it were a Dodgers team that relied solely on their offense, maybe I would be a little more concerned because a layoff impacts the offense more than it impacts the pitchers. But because of the fact that the pitchers are so dominant, if Blake Snell and Yamamoto have to dominate for the first couple of games while the Dodgers offense gets to the swing of things, then I think that could be the case. But this is Shohei Ohtani, man. Like, did any of those teams that lost have Shohei Ohtani? The answer is no. Okay? And what I say, I told you before the start of last season when everyone wanted to point out all the Dodgers' bad postseason moments in years past, I said that I'm not talking about those, and I'm not lumping Shohei Ohtani in with any of those teams. I am taking a whole new approach, and it's a whole new era, and I will not talk about Dodgers losing, Dodgers choking, Dodgers faltering in the postseason. I'm not doing any of that until they actually do. And the truth is, the second year with Shohei Ohtani is the second time they have a chance to win a World Series. So 2 for 2 is what I'm going for. And I think that this team is mature enough to handle a layoff, and they're smart enough, too, to be able to do what they need to do to physically and mentally prepare. And I will say, too, there were some guys that were dealing with some stuff on this team that needed this break, this 6 days, to be at 100%. So you would take that as well. No doubt about it. We've got some more here. History is not on the Blue Jays side. We got this Dodger team is scary good. Joseph H., Professor Hamato, rust or rest. It's a nice ring to it. Joseph, D-Mac, listening from Dubai. I'll be watching the World Series from this side of the world. Hey, man, hey, if Dodgers, you got to go up top of the Burj Khalifa and go skydiving off of it, just butt naked wearing a Dodgers cape. All right, how about, okay, bruh, late night, Dodgers Dugout Live. All right, guys, couple more here. Don Davis, Blue Jays, I see how you spelled that, out of pocket, are going to wish that Shohei hadn't landed there this time. That's a comment of the show. Don Davis, the Blue Jays fans are going to wish that Shohei hadn't landed there this time because the Big Show is about to do damage in the 6. We got, if the Dodgers win Game 1, it will be over in 4. Take that to the banko. Yoshi needs 11 more. Muncie, Mumbai, guys talking about the Drake, and you guys are talking about the Kendrick thing. I didn't even know that Drake liked Major League Baseball. Did you guys know that? I thought he was a big basketball guy and he liked soccer. I didn't even know he liked the majors. I didn't even know he liked the show. I know he liked Major League Baseball. I thought Drake liked the minors. Right? Wasn't that his thing? Okay, I'm messing with you, Drake. Messing with you, Drizzy Drake. Kendrick Lamar, perform at Game 3. El Machingon, 499. D-Mac needs a Baby Yoda tramp stamp wearing locks and him saying Conforto is my daddy. Daddy is Conforto. Okay. D-Mac, who says the guy that I know. I don't know, Beer Sama. I don't know. Beer Sama, Drake, more of the Raptors. There you go. I love sports. Drake. Yeah. All right, guys, couple more here. Alan Enriquez, he's a whatever popular fan. All right, cool. Drake is an opportunist. Yeah, D-Mac. D-Mac ASMR stories. Maybe after. Okay, got the laugh emojis. Awesome, guys. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. If you want to win a Clayton Kershaw CK3K shirt, bobblehead, go to the LA Sports Report. Subscribe right now, the LA Sports Report. Go over there and comment LASR CK3K to be eligible to win. We're also doing a Luka Doncic giveaway. Tons of exciting stuff over the LA Sports Report. Join the Discord and join me tomorrow. Also, Friday, Yasiel Puig is going to be on the show. How exciting is that? Puig Mania. What should we ask him? Let me know down below in the comments section what you want me to ask the Wild Horse. I can't wait for that one. All right, guys. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. If you really want to support the channel, hit that like button on your way out. And remember, the most important thing above all, is that nothing, absolutely nothing, brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.